It's celebration time in Kampala. The 4th Uganda National Cultural Centre UNCC Annual Art and Culture Festival is in full swing. The event kicked off in the Ugandan capital on Friday, October 7 and will close on Sunday, October 9, with celebrations of the 60th anniversary of the East African nation's independence. Throughout the 3-day celebration event, processions, traditional dances and other performing arts have animated the streets. The event, organized by the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development through its UNCC agency, also aims to contribute to the preservation of Uganda's history and tradition, as well as stimulating the local economy. After the main independence celebrations, stage performances will bring an end to the festival. Burkina Faso's coup leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, will convene a so-called National Assembly on October 14 and 15 to appoint a new transitional president. The announcement came Saturday after a decree was read on state television. The assembly talks are set to take place in Ouagadougou. After Traoré's military takeover and his appointment as president of the transition, he met with diplomats on Friday as the country experiences a time of great tribulation. Jihadist militants have killed thousands and forced 2 million to flee their homes since 2015. Despite military operations, attacks increased since mid-March and continue to plunge families into mourning. Terrorism is making things difficult for the Burkinabe people. We are with the new president and we pray that God assist him. We're also looking for new equipment and military personnel so that we can get out of this. If not, a lot of our children will die. Mourners attended Saturday the funeral of 27 soldiers who were slain in an ambush on September 26. They were part of a supply convoy of more than 200 trucks heading to the town of Deby, the capital of the northern Sahel region, when they were attacked. In addition to the 27 soldiers killed, at least 10 civilians died. Others are still unaccounted for. The Al-Qaeda terrorist group claimed responsibility for the attack. This military setback is seen as the catalyst for the second coup. Shortly after ascending to power, junta leader Traoré argued soldiers lacked the basic logistics under his predecessor, Deby. Chad's National Forum announced Saturday that Mahamat Idriss Itno, who took over in April last year after his father's demise, would remain in power during the 2-year transition to elections. At a ceremony boycotted by opposition members, leading armed rebel groups and civil society organizations, the Transitional Military Council, which had ruled the country for the past 18 months, was formally dissolved. Despite calls urging the 38-year-old general not to extend the transition and not to run for president in upcoming elections, the forum, among a raft of resolutions adopted under a transition charter, ratified Deby's right to vie for the presidency after the transition. The national talks, which were wrapped up in N'Djamena, had been launched 7 weeks earlier on August 20. At the Soisambu Conservancy in Nakuru, southern Kenya, tourists come to experience the rich biodiversity. Don't be mistaken, John Perret, the owner of a camel safari, is not merely taking a picture. He is using the Makenya Mammal Atlas Kenya app, which allows users to record all the details of any mammals they spot.
This app now helps us to really map where these animals are, and if they're in trouble, we can get the authorities to come and help us, and it gives me a great opportunity to show the tourists exactly where they are. And this will be a continuous census, and we will know how well our animals are performing.
In addition to benefiting the tourism and those who work for animal welfare, the free app can be a tool for raising awareness. This researcher therefore wants the general public to make the most of it.
We want to encourage the general public to participate in conserving mammals. And one of the basic ways they can actually do that is whenever they see mammal anywhere, they submit a record That way is one of the most important way of them even participating in conserving mammals.
The Kenyan Wildlife Service says around 25,000 species of animal and 7,000 species of plants have so far been recorded, collecting additional data that enables to monitor the living conditions of the animals is another objective of the app.
It will also include recording the breeding condition. Specifically, if you see endangered species and you see that it has young ones, that is quite encouraging, because we'll know that that species is actually will survive in the environment. Number two, again, it will be a game changer because it will also capture the habitat type where that species is found. If the habitat is in good condition, then we know that the endangered species will survive in that particular habitat in long run.
It is indeed essential to identify conditions in which animals are still able to thrive or at least cope. The effects of drought across parts of Kenya threaten many species. The Mammal Committee of Nature Kenya, the National Museums of Kenya and collaborators were involved in the app project. Sam Matekane, Lesotho's leader of the Revolution for Prosperity RFP party, joined Sunday supporters gathered in the capital Maseru to rejoice over an early lead in the parliamentary race. The Independent Electoral Commission had indeed started unveiling provisional results. The 64-year-old man, who's believed to be the country's richest person, was considered a dark horse in this election. Our young people, I want to thank you for making your choice and showing that you are the people who want to take responsibility. As you went out to vote, you showed that you are the largest part of the nation that was seen voting. The main challengers in the polls included the Lesotho Convention Party and the Democratic Congress Party. About 1.5 million people were registered to cast their ballot and choose a candidate from the more than 50 competing parties. Turnout in the last elections in 2017 was only 47%, but some observers believe the figure could be higher this year. Voters choose 80 out of the 120 members of parliament who, in turn, will decide who becomes the next prime minister.